We begin with a boy who grew up near a quiet river, in a small house with a father who never spoke of the woman who left the family when he was very young. He does not remember his mother's face. The only thing his father ever said about her was, "She is gone," and that was all. From that day on, the boy stopped asking. They lived simply, a boy and his father, in a house close to the water. The air was usually still and visitors were rare. The father worked hard, fixing cars in a small shop, walking home late, eating in silence, and going to bed without saying much. The boy stayed alone for most of the day, reading books, watching the river, listening to the water move slow and calm. He liked the quiet. He did not talk to many people. He did not trust them. At school, he was different. Other boys played together, laughed, and shared their stories. The boy sat in the corner, finished his work, and left as soon as the bell rang. Some boys tried to talk to him, tried to be his friend, but he pushed them away. He did not believe in friendship. He did not believe in love. His father had told him, "People leave. Do not expect them to stay." The boy believed those words. He thought girls were the same. They smiled at him, asked him questions, tried to include him in conversations. But he answered nothing. He walked away. He watched how they laughed with others, how they changed their friends as easily as changing a shirt. One day they liked someone. The next day they liked someone else. He concluded that their words did not mean anything. He decided not to waste his time. He focused on school. He focused on work. He told himself he did not need people. He was fine alone. Years passed. The boy finished school. He began helping his father in the car shop every day. Life became routine. He woke up early, worked all day, ate a simple dinner with his father, said a few words, and went to bed. The next day, he repeated the same pattern. Life was simple. Life was quiet. He did not feel sad. He did not feel happy. He thought this was all life could be. He thought he needed nothing more. Then, one day, everything changed. It was a completely normal day. The young man woke up early, ate breakfast, and walked to the shop. His father was already there, bent over a car engine, his hands streaked with oil. The father did not say much. He never did. The young man picked up his tools and began his work. The air smelled of oil and metal. The sound of engines and hammers filled the shop. This was his world. This was what he knew. Then a girl walked in. She was not a customer at first, just someone who happened by. She looked around the shop, then stepped closer. She told the young man there was a problem with her car. He did not look at her face. He did not particularly care. He wiped his hands and asked what was wrong. She explained, but he barely listened. He only wanted to fix the car and go back to work. When he finished, he handed her the keys. She thanked him, but he did not answer. He thought she would leave, but she did not. She stood at the door, looking around. "Do you like working here?" she asked. He did not answer. Small talk annoyed him. "You are very quiet," she said and smiled. He stayed silent. She laughed softly, not loud like other people. Her laugh did not bother him. After a moment, he gave her the keys, and she left. He was sure that was the last he would see of her. But the next day, she came back. This time, she did not have a car problem. She simply stood at the door watching the shop. He ignored her. She walked closer. "Can I watch?" she asked. He frowned. "Watch what?" "You work," she said. He shook his head. She did not leave. She just smiled gently. "Okay, I will wait outside," she said and stepped away. He did not understand her. Why was she there? What did she want? For the next few days, she came again and again. Sometimes she asked simple questions. Sometimes she just sat outside watching the shop, watching him. His father noticed. "She is different," the father said one day. The young man did not reply. He did not want to talk about her. He did not want to think about her. But he did. Ambient sound. Soft river flow. Gentle wind. One evening, he saw her by the river. She was sitting on a rock, her eyes on the water, her hands resting on her knees. He walked past her, but she turned and smiled. "Do you like the river?" she asked. No one had ever asked him that before. He paused, then nodded slowly. She did not press him. She did not try to fill the silence with chatter. She just sat there, quiet, felt strange. He told himself she was like the others. She would leave. She would get bored and stop coming. But she did not. Days passed and she kept coming. Every morning, she walked into the shop. Sometimes she brought a question. Sometimes she simply watched. His father grew used to her presence. In fact, he began to smile when she arrived. The young man, however, remained confused. She was different from other people he had known. She did not talk too much. She did not ask too many questions. She did not seem to want anything from him. She just stayed. And he did not know why. One afternoon, she brought coffee. She placed the cup on the table near him. "For you," she said. He looked at it but did not take it. "I don't drink coffee," he replied. She only smiled. "Then I will bring tea next time." He frowned. "Why?" She shrugged. He did not answer. He picked up his tools and continued working. From the corner of his eye, he saw his father take the coffee, take a sip, and smile at her. His father liked her. The young man did not know why. Over time, she started coming in the evenings as well. She sat by the river. She walked near the shop. She did not ask him anything. She did not expect him to say anything. She was simply there. He told himself she would get bored. He told himself she would stop coming. But she did not. One evening, he found her sitting on an old wooden bench near the river. The sun was setting, the water turning gold, the sky streaked with orange and pink. He was tired after a long day of work, but he walked toward her. "Why do you come here every day?" he asked. She looked at him and smiled. "Because I want to." "That makes no sense," he answered. "You don't even know me." She tilted her head slightly. "Maybe I do." He shook his head. "No, you don't." She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Maybe you think people always leave, but I am still here." Her words made his chest feel suddenly heavy. He did not know why. He did not answer. Instead, he sat next to her. The sky darkened, the colors fading into deep blue. They stayed there in silence, the river murmuring beside them. For the first time, that silence did not feel empty. It felt full of something he did not yet understand. The next day, she brought tea. She placed the cup near him just as before. He stared at it for a long time. Then, for the first time, he reached out and picked it up. The cup was warm in his hands. He took a small sip. She smiled, but she did not say anything. She did not need to. Something was changing. She became a part of his days. He did not expect it, but he began to notice when she was not there. Every morning she came to the shop. Every evening she sat by the river. She talked sometimes, but never too much. She never asked questions he did not want to answer. She never pushed him to speak. She was just there, and he let her be. One day she came later than usual. He was fixing a car, but his eyes kept drifting to the door. She was not there. He told himself it did not matter. He worked harder, trying to ignore the tightness growing in his chest. But the hours passed and she never arrived. He told himself she was just busy. Maybe she had found something else to do. Maybe she finally got tired of coming to the shop. Maybe she finally left. But then, in the evening, she walked in. She moved slower than usual, her steps a little heavy. "Sorry," she said. "I had something to do." He did not ask what. He just nodded and kept working. But his hands shook slightly. He did not know why. She watched him for a while, then placed something on the table near him. It was a small box. "For you," she said. He frowned. "Why?" She smiled. "Open it later." Then she left. That night, he sat on his bed and looked at the box. It was small and simple. He hesitated before opening it. Inside, there was a keychain. A small silver key hanging from a black string. It was simple, plain, unembellished. He remembered a time when his life was just like that, simple, plain, unembellished. He did not understand why she had given it to him, but he held it in his hand for a long time. Then he placed it in his pocket. The next day, She came to the shop as though nothing had happened. He wanted to ask her about the keychain, but he did not know how. So he kept working. She watched as usual. But something had changed. That evening, they met by the river. "Do you ever think about leaving this town?" she asked. He looked at her, a little confused. "Why?" She shrugged. "Just wondering. Do you ever want to see other places?" He shook his head. "This is my home." She smiled. "Home is not always a place," she said. He did not understand what she meant, but he did not ask. Days turned into weeks. She kept coming, and something inside him kept changing. He stopped pushing her away. He began to listen when she spoke. When she brought tea, he drank it. When she sat by the river, he sat beside her. One day, his father said something unexpected. "She cares about you," he said. The young man frowned. "She is just friendly." His father shook his head. "No, it is more than that." He did not answer. He did not want to think about it. But that evening, when he saw her by the river, he walked toward her faster than usual. She smiled when she saw him. He sat down next to her. They watched the water for a while. Then, without thinking, he reached into his pocket and held the keychain in his hand. It felt important, though he could not explain why. She saw it and smiled. "You kept it." He nodded once. "Yes." The sun was setting again. The sky was orange and pink. The air was cool. He looked at her, and for the first time, he asked a question that frightened his own heart. "Why do you stay?" She did not look surprised. She just smiled. "Because I want to." And for the first time, he believed her. One day it rained. The shop was quiet. No cars came. His father went home early. The young man sat alone, listening to the rain hit the roof. He told himself she would not come. No one walked in the rain. But then he saw her. She was standing at the door, her clothes wet, her hair damp, her face bright with a quiet smile. "You're still here," she said. He frowned. "You're wet." She laughed. "Yes, I know." He sighed and went inside to get a towel. She took it, dried her face, and sat on the chair near him. She did not say anything for a while. They just sat there, listening to the rain. Then she spoke. "Do you ever feel lonely?" The question surprised him. He did not answer at first. He had never thought about it. He had always been alone. He had always told himself that he did not need people. "No," he said finally. "I don't need people." She looked at him, her eyes soft. "But you let me stay." He opened his mouth to argue, but the words would not come. She was right. He had never told her to leave. He had never pushed her away. She was different, and he did not know why she stayed. The rain continued. The sky was gray. The shop was cold. But with her sitting there, it felt warm. He did not know what to say, so he said nothing. For the first time, silence did not feel empty. It felt full of something he still could not name. Ambient sound. Soft evening. Birds. Distant river. Gentle wind. Days passed. The young man began to notice small things about her. He noticed how she laughed softly when she was nervous, as though she did not want to disturb the quiet. He noticed how she looked up at the sky when she was thinking, as if searching for an answer in the clouds. He noticed how she always sat in the same spot by the river, as if that place belonged to her. These small details stayed in his mind. No matter how hard he tried to ignore them, they would not leave. One evening, she was unusually quiet. She sat by the river, staring at the water. He sat beside her. "What's wrong?" he asked. She sighed. "Nothing. Just thinking." He waited. She did not say more. So he sat with her, watching the sky change colors, the air cool, the wind soft. Felt peaceful. But something was different. Then she turned to him. "If I leave one day, will you miss me?" The question hit him like a wave. He stared at her. He wanted to say no. He wanted to say he did not care. But the words would not come. He said nothing. She smiled, but this time the smile was sad. "It's okay," she said softly. "I already know the answer." That night he could not sleep. Her words stayed in his mind. He tried to forget them, but they would not go. He turned in his bed, staring at the ceiling. For the first time, he asked himself a question he had never asked before. What if she leaves? And for the first time, he was afraid of the answer. She did not come that morning. He told himself it was nothing. Maybe she was busy. Maybe she would come later. But the hours passed, and she never appeared. The shop felt quieter than usual, even with the sound of engines and tools. The river felt empty, even with the wind moving the water. Something was missing, something he did not want to name. The next day, she was still gone. He waited.